What up everyone, I'm the guard and welcome to Hive Swap FriendSim. If you're wondering where Birdie is currently AWOL for good reasons because we recorded this before. Well, technically they're right behind me. Hello B! Hi! Recorded this and I forgot that the microphone wasn't on. And it's very heamy to say the least, so Bird has good reason. Stumble through the streets of an alien world. Ever since you crash landed on this hostile planet, you have been desperate. Desperate for information, for provisions, and possibly for a bit of medical attention. Along the way, you've had some laughs, embarrassing missteps, and maybe even an encounter with alien meat products. You don't really want to get into it. What you do want to get into is friendship! An entire planet of endless friend opportunities awaits you. Honestly, at this point, you make friends with one of those weird purple bushes. You're not picky. Wait, you see something in the distance, or perhaps someone? Amisha Eden! Lo, what light through yonder weirdly organic architecture breaks? A small figure approaches, a small. Oh my gosh! You are so... So far, you've swallowed quite a few insults in regards to your looks and intelligence level. You aren't really the type to let the shallow opinions of others get you down, but it's kind of been a rough day. You brace yourself. Cute! Oh. She gives you a sweet, sincere smile. I've never seen anything like you. It's given me all sorts of new ideas. Boy, do you hope some of those ideas are about friendship. Now that you got your taste of it, you are hungry for more. And would like to actually eat a proper goddamn food at some point. You take the stumbling step forward and your ribs remind you that although the potential of camaraderie is enough to improve your mental health, it can't cure acute injuries. Oh, you don't look so good. Come inside. I've been looking for new contributors. Contributors? Could you mean friendship contributors? No, that's dumb. Maybe she runs some sort of alien newspaper and she wants you on staff. She looks a little young for that. But what the heck do you know about alien management hierarchy? Because this entire planet is made of children and young teenagers. You follow her to a nearby building, and now that you're looking up from your ravenous hunt for companionship, you notice that you've wandered into a kind of upscale part of town. I wouldn't have thought that the high caste would have been so close to the low caste at this point. There's a lot less garbage and people collapsed in the street. You see one of those spiky robot things, but it's washing a window instead of shooting a laser at a group of children. If that's not high class, you don't know what is. Before you can follow her inside, she turns around in the threshold, blocking your way. Real quick, you don't happen to be an artist, do you? Artistry? Well, as a matter of fact, I don't have the knack for it because all of mine are spheroid heads. Oh, good. Friendships between artists can be so fraught. Much better to just keep things between artists and art appreciators. That way no one can get jealous. Amisha's a fun one to voice. In the previous comic dubs I've done. A lot of flailing, but I'm trying to keep it just solid. The girl's smile widens even further and you feel an unbelievable rush of joy. Have you finally found someone who's a total fucking maniac? But then look at them teeths. She probably bitey. And she brought up friendship without you having to mention it at all. It puts a spring in your step. Or as much of a spring as possible with a broken arm and a misaligned torso. Amisha leads you into an elevator with buttons labelled in spiky letters that make absolutely no sense to you unless you can read Daedric. At least I think that's what that font's called. You realise that probably nothing is ever going to make sense to you again. That's okay. Your hierarchy of needs has adjusted recently. It's upside down. Your new friend, you are jumping the gun with this descriptor, but you are feeling extremely good about this encounter, stands in the corner of the elevator wringing her claws. I wish I'd known I was going to have company. I would have cleaned up a little. It's been a while since I've met anyone new. You assure her that whatever disaster her house is, it can't be any worse than some of the places you've seen here. Like Ceruleans with children in cages in their basements. Although you kind of get what she means, she's wearing an artist's smock that's covered in splashes of paint. Or is it? Actually, it doesn't look like anything. It doesn't really look like paint, but it couldn't be anything else, could it? It's every colour of the rainbow. See, look, it's a lot cleaner. The elevator door slides open and you step into a space that you're relieved to find is totally recognisable. A table overflows with messy palettes and brushes, cloudy jars of water, and sponges. Several easels stand beside the window to catch the light of the two moons, and a number of canvases leaning against the wall turn so you can't see what's on them. Well, first things first. Amisha brings you over to the wall screen that looks way more high-tech than anything you have on your now defunct spaceship, tapping away at a series of unreadable symbols. She then indicates that you should take off your sling. Here! Go ahead and stick it in there. She seems to want you to put your injured arm into a large hole in the wall, which you do because you are sure your new friend has your best interests at heart. The hole shrinks down like a pressure cuff, sending bolts of agony through you. You want to yank your arm back out, but you don't. Even if it's broken, you still like having it attached to you. Instead, you shout a lot and thrash your other limbs around. Oh, calm down, you big wiggler. It's like you've never seen a medicalizer before. If you don't stop moving, it won't work. Tears spill down your cheeks, but you force yourself still. You'll bear the pain. You'll do it for your friend. She's looking at you so hopefully, and she's so delicate and pretty, almost angelic. You look at her face and tell yourself it's all going to be okay. Look at them eyebrows though. Scribbly. Finally, the hole releases you and you pull back your arm to find it completely healed. You can move your fingers. It doesn't even hurt anymore. Hey, things are looking up. See? I told you. This is great. You are overwhelmed with the urge to celebrate. You try to resist the urge to celebrate. You try to resist the urge, but you fail to resist the urge. You take Amisha by her tiny little hands and twirl her around the studio. Or you try to. You forgot about your busted ribs. You're sure doing that a lot. You let go of Amisha and go careening into one of the tables. Thankfully, not one covered in art supplies. You hit the corner and go down onto your incredibly sore ass. This is what you get for acting like a huge fucking tool in front of your new friend. Are you okay? Was that some sort of ritualistic rite of healing I've never heard of before? You shrug against the floor. Hello. Amisha leans down and picks you up in a bridal carry, despite the fact that she's half your size. It makes your ribs hurt, but what doesn't nowadays? Amisha lays you down on a weird lumpy couch. Are you sure you're okay? You look a little, She trails off into nothing. She's looking at your left arm, which you've now draped yourself awkwardly to sort of try to hold your torso together. That colour. At first you think she means the colour of your skin, which is different than her light grey. Then you think she means the truly fantastic buffet of bruises you've got going on. But then you realise that in your prancing idiocy you managed to scrape up the inside of your arm. He moves sluggishly from the wound. Amisha dredges a finger through it. You're half expecting her to put it in her mouth and for this to become a whole cannibalistic ritual. What? These words aren't there. And for this to become a whole cannibal situation. Well, since you aren't the same species, it wouldn't really be cannibalism, but still, no thanks. Instead, Amisha just holds her finger up, the drop of heme trembling on the tip. This colour. I've never seen anything like it. She dashes off to one of her tables, pulling over a sketchbook and dragging her finger down on it. Your heme paints a rusty line down the centre. She lets out a little squeak of excitement. This is amazing! What? Red? Not red. There's a million dirty little rusties swarming all over this city. I'm drowning in red. This is crimson. It's incredible. You must be some sort of mutant. You're really lucky I found you instead of one of the drones. Lucky? You? Yeah, very lucky. The luckiest. Now, when your arm is healed and you're out of this whatever doubtfully weird weather happens on this planet, maybe Amisha's right. Maybe you are lucky. You close your eyes and try to breathe. Zen yourself out. Really center yourself in your own body and all that garbage. Amisha, put that down! Then you open your eyes and wow, you sure aren't centered anymore. That is a big axe and the head of that axe is as big as her head. The fact you roll completely to the left as you try to get away from Amisha, who is back and standing over you with a gigantic axe. Watch out! Amisha grabs you, drags you back up onto the couch, and plants her hand on your solar plexus, effectively pinning you down. You'll hurt yourself if you keep flopping around like a beach blubber beast. You'll want to be friends, don't you? You want to help me with my artistic aspirations, right? You get the feeling that she might be trying to manipulate you. Just the tiniest little suspicion. It's possible Amisha's recognised your intense craving for companionship and is trying to exploit it. You don't like being suspicious of a new friend, but that is a pretty big axe. I don't know what's got you so worried. I just want to show you my axe. Oh, of course. Makes sense. It is a really nice axe. You hold out your hand for it, but of course it is too heavy for you and your hands are all sweaty and you fumble it. Fumble the really sharp weapon. Amisha tries to catch it before it's too late, and somehow in all the wriggly struggle you both end up getting cut. Like, very cut. Across both your wrists. In fact, you don't even think she could have aimed even better if she'd been trying. Oh, dear. Hard agree. Don't struggle. You'll only hurt yourself more, silly. You don't want that, do you? No, you definitely don't want that. Not after a Butterfingers you've proven to be. Amisha gets up to put the axe down, and you kind of lose track of her for a little while. You're leaking all over her couch, and everything around you starts to go shiny and unreal. She comes back with a couple little jars she uses to catch your colour. That's a good idea. You're sure making a mess. I wonder if they're specifically heme jars. They look like jam jars. Alien jam. Space jam. Oh god, you love that movie. It's been so long since you've seen it. Definitely the best PG movie about basketball. Way better than the one with the dog and the clown. I have no idea what's going on. Do they even have basketball here? You ask Amisha. She just shushes you and brushes your hair back off your forehead. She keeps smiling and saying comforting things. God, she's such a good friend. For too long, you do what it's honestly a goddamn shock you haven't done before now. You pass out. When you come to, you're propped up against the wall in a weird way that you wouldn't love even if you weren't an invalid. And both of your arms are jammed in the hole against the wall. The mid-hole, the glory hole of well-being, the magic sphincter that you grunt and pull your arms back out. They're healed. The cuts on your wrists are now just two faded pink lines. You take a step away from the wall and immediately hit the ground. You may not be actively dying anymore, but you just did lose like half your liquids. Gosh, you're tired. A little giggle makes you turn around or roll over since you're still on the floor. And probably not getting up anytime soon. It's fine. You've met worse floors in your life. I can sleep on the floor. Sort of. But I need, like, angles. Amisha is sitting at one of her easels, her hair pulled back beneath a scarf and a little round glass is perched on her nose. A jar of your heme sits next to her, and as you watch, she dips a brush in it. I'm glad you're awake. I was a little worried I'd actually killed you back there. She laughs, and you laugh along with her. It's very funny. Actually, everything is funny right now. It's probably the heme loss. You ask her what she's painting. You, of course! You inspired me! Well, right now it just looks like a bunch of red squiggles and some lines. But she's only just got started. She's warming up. She sits there on a stool, looking at her palette and chewing on her lip nervously. Thoughtfully. She looks somewhat nervous. Actually, I want to show you something. Something I've never showed anyone else. She leaps up from her stool and crosses the studio. You roll to your other side to keep her in your line of sight. You really hope she isn't getting another space jam jar. She starts turning around the canvases one by one. They're all blank, except for one, which has a little... Wait, no, that's just a shadow. Every single one of them is blank. You're not sure you understand. You ask her if these are all just new canvases, that she's not gotten the chance to paint on yet. Amisha sighs. No. I've had them for forever. I'm not a real painter! There! I said it! She buries her face in her hands, talking from between her fingers. I'm really good at all the other parts, the materials in the studio. I even make all my own paints. I don't want to know how you do that. I just can never do the actual sitting down and doing art part. She just looks so despondent. You wish you could do something, but you don't really know that much about art. And you probably can't stand up yet. You tell her that she looks like she's moving in the right direction, at least. You don't even have a studio or any brushes or stuff like that. Of course, you have no aspirations to be a painter, but you leave that part out. That's just it. I feel inspired for the first time ever. I think it has to do with your messed up, disgusting mutant shade. There really is no other explanation. She takes a knee beside you, picking up one of your limp hands with hers. They're cold, like she's been pressing them into the glass window in the winter. Yep, the higher up the cost you go, the colder your body temperature is, until you get to the princess, who is cold as ice. Usually I just finish off my contributors quickly. I don't have time to deal with a bunch of injured How about this? I don't have time to deal with a bunch of injured peasants moaning around my studio. But I couldn't just use up your shade all up at once. You're far too special for that. You gaze at Amisha. A mist has descended over your vision, and it isn't even the mist of imminent death. I have to keep this precious shade safe. I think you might be my muse. I am very lightheaded as well. The downside of making friends with this artist is you get very spinny. I will never escape. I have made friends with the indigo. I'm gonna need something to make my head stop spinning. I should probably get a drink. B, what should I get? What should I get for drinkies?
Tea.
Okay, I'll get some tea. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go get some tea. Stick about if you want to see some more FriendSim and my silly voices. But now, sit tight and stay shining for me.